And the second, the not so common, people act on what they hear being preached at them. So just because you're in a church that isn't abusive, you fit in the first category. Your church teaches homophobic, transphobic, sexist, racist, predator, power dynamic sermons, whether or not you want to admit it. You can't quote the Bible without all or some of those negative vices appearing. Your church just doesn't act on what they're taught. That's the difference. But if you use the Bible as a symbol and as your official book, that book teaches people how to hurt people. There's just a moral way of preying on people. And as long as a white person does the grooming, it's not grooming. It is, but they're not going to call it that. They're going to call it obeying God's word by teaching our kids. The difference between educating is giving the child the opportunity to think for themselves. Indoctrination, they can't make a choice because the only thing they know is what you've told them. So at the end of the day, we need to strip away the respectableness of married male privilege. Because just because you go to church doesn't mean you're any less of a killer, predator, or a horrible person. Hopefully you are a decent person, but the default setting should never be, well, they go to church, they must be nice. Personally, I'm surprised if someone says they're a Christian and they're nice to me, especially after saying I'm an atheist. There is no hate like Christian love. That is so true. It's not 100%, but it's so true. And people can say, well, you had a very negative church experience. No, I had a very accurate mainstream experience with church. Just because your church doesn't have abusive people that you know of doesn't mean your environment isn't being run by abusive dynamics. Because if you quote the Bible, you are quoting an abusive text. Religion benefits men only. And that's not me saying that. That I learned from studying under the most brilliant, educated people who talk about religious history, religious philosophy, and the harms that religion does in the past, present, and probably how it's going to go in the future.